Seeing, I just did a little work on, let me also do something so that maybe you'll be able to see more. Yeah, so now I have just some things I just put together, and to some reasonable extent, they are quite practical. They are quite practical, and they are more like a calendar, farming calendar, as well as also doing a small budget for the farming you want to do, you want to go into. So, and here I say that participants are to be trained on profitable commercial farming activities, profitable commercial farming, to enable them access loan, from the Central Bank of Nigeria. And the training should also be able to equip the participant to make good use of the loan so as to achieve a profitable agribusiness venture in the field of crop production. So the training will also focus on mostly crop and soil perspective. Will be focused on perspective more. So based on that, so I will be going more into it. Then I see the objective is to afford practical fashion that will turn around the farms of these participants, that will turn around their farms for commercial sustainability and vitality. So we'll be talking about cropping calendar for 2020 and 2021. Cropping calendar for 2020 and 2021. And we'll be saying that usually we have 2 seasons. We have a dry season and wet season, calendar. When it comes to farming activities, we have dry season and wet season calendar. And this should be used as a standard measure for design of cropping calendar. So this is to say that farming activities will come in the normal twofold, starting from wet season and also end in dry season. Starting from wet season. And of course, wet season in Nigeria, Nigeria is part of a tropical rainforest, and the farming season in Nigeria usually starts, for the wet season, usually starts from March with land clearing. And then from that March till October is usually the harvesting and storage time, when you would have done your planting. And of course, you start with all the pre-planting operations. It is assumed that you'd have actually gone to inspect the place very well to ensure that the land you are using to cultivate, just as we said yesterday, is relatively on a flat terrain, to avoid so much washing away of your nutrients. So it should be relatively on a stable terrain. And of course, the place should, you would have done some major clearing. If the soil or the land was actually gotten from a forest, you may have to stomp and remove the roots of some high plants that are there that may interfere with your plowing activities or any form of cultivation you are using. So based on that, dry season calendar will now be from November, say maybe 2020, to April 2021, and that would form the dry season period for cultivation. And also some of the crops that were selected for these activities, 2020/2021 farming season, the crops were carefully selected to include some of the crops that have very good market potentials, so that when you grow them, you'll be able to make some profits. And some of them here, especially, I don't know, tomato. One of us yesterday made mention of tomato. I don't know if the person is still around today. I don't think. However, I also mentioned some things like, I think, vegetables too. So yes, leafy vegetable, that's number 4 there. Ugu or and amaranthus. Ugu is Teferia occidentalis, and Amaranthus species, SPP, is the one we know as green vegetable. So most of these vegetables and crops are they have very high economic potential, very high market potential. So based on that, they were chosen. And that's maybe for dry season for this tomato, pepper, rice, and leafy vegetable. Then wet season, maize, rice, cowpea, and also vegetables too can come in the wet season. Now, I don't know if you are seeing table 1 there. So table 1 here, you will see crops. Crops are lying horizontally. Crops are lying vertically, whereas the months are lying horizontally. And of course, we are assuming that we are starting for wet season farming. And we now stated some of the activities in the way it should be done and when they should be done. The way they should be done and when they should be done. So you start maybe March, April, that is when you be starting with your land preparation slash land acquisition. That is when you be acquiring your seed. You need to acquire your seed too. And we made mention of how to acquire seed yesterday. You have to acquire your seed from a certified seed dealers, or at least agricultural development program bodies in our respective states or research institutes. So you get your seed there so that you'll be able to note, as Ms. Atinuke told us, that you have to record, in your record book where those seeds are coming from, so that you'll be able to study certain things that may be coming up from their performance later, to know you have the information of your seed, where they are coming from. So also we have May now. You have in May, you have planting. You would have prepared your plant. And also in that April, when you must have gotten your seed, you also get your inputs ready. Inputs include your fertilizer. Your inputs include your herbicides, include your pesticides, and some other things that will be needed. You get all those things ready in your around that time, April. Now, also May, you start your planting. That is for maize now, for maize, rice, and sorghum. Maize, rice, and sorghum, you're starting your planting around May. And now, let me also sound something that this thing depends on the part of the country where you are. In some part of the country, like the South, even your land preparation should even start as from March if you are from the South. Some of these things were prepared based on where my faculty is in Kaduna. So some of the things I use while doing it were some of the things we do there and all of that. So some of the dates you are seeing here somehow may be more like not related, and even some of the crops chosen. So based on that, for maize, you start your planting around May, and whereas for cowpea, you are doing your land preparation in May. So for maize, you're still continuing planting in June, and in July, you are doing your weeding. In August, you are doing your pest management. In September, you are doing your fresh harvest for maize, rice, or sorghum. For September, you're already doing your harvest. October, you may do your dry harvest, and November also dry harvest. So December, you start doing your storage / marketing. Also for cowpea, land preparation in May, June, acquiring your seed / inputs, and July, you do your planting for cowpea, and August, you do your weeding. September, you do your pest management, and October, you do your harvest, and November also harvest, dry harvest, and then December, you do your storage. Now, we want to go into also for crops like for early dry season now, assuming we're talking about now maybe early dry season. Early dry season now is from November, December, January, February, March, into that is part of 2020/2021. Part of 2020/2021, you'll be seeing that here now, some of the crops we have here, like tomato, like pepper, like ugu, like amaranthus, and even cucumber. If you want to go into all of that for dry season farming, you may likely have to start your land preparation and all of that. You may have to start them around November, and you start them around November, December, and then January, you begin some of your field management practices. So you begin to do some of your weeding, your pesticide applications, and all of that, Then from February and all of that, some of them you would have started doing your harvest and the rest, as well as March, you do your harvest. But then remember that something is very, very significant with dry season farming. It means that you have your own source of water, you have your own source of moisture, because at this time now you're not very sure of rain. Rain will definitely not be falling, especially in the northern Nigeria. You can't see rain, and you can't see rain around November. You can't see rain in December. You can't see rain in January, February, and even March. You may likely not see rain in those places that time. So, however, you may have to make arrangement for your irrigation facility. You have to make your arrangement for irrigation when you are doing your farming around this area and around this time. So that is for call it a late dry season farming. Late dry season farming for 2020. Now we have a cropping calendar for 2021. 2021 too. It's also going to be starting for crops like tomato, especially in the north too. That is another, north central, that's Kaduna area and some other parts close to there, that area. So it's late dry season is March, April, May. It is still dry season there because even if there is rain within this time, it may just be very small, and all of that. So you now do your land preparation, still for tomato, for pepper, for ugu, and even green, as well as cucumber. So you do your land preparation, seed acquisition, and all of that around March. You do your planting in April, and as from May, you do some other practices, and your harvest will likely start follow. So that is it. Now, this is another area that is very, very important. I don't know if I'm actually infringing in what Ms. Atinuke will be handling, but I just felt like we needed to do some of this. The challenge is that some of us, when we go into cultivation, sometimes we don't really take time to prepare some things. And when we are able to come up with something like this, it will really go a long way to help us. It will really go a long way to help us, because when you prepare this, you'll be able to have a target. You'll be able to have an expected income. You already have what you spent. For instance, in your land clearing now, you already have an idea of what you are spending depending on the size of your farm. Here, I'm I'm budgeting for tomato now, for instance, and I'm using just maybe like 0.25 hectares. In other words, in 1 hectare, I divided it into 4, and in that 1 hectare, I want to maybe grow tomato in one part of it. I want to grow ugu in the other part, 1/4 part of it. I want to grow pepper in the other part, and I want to grow something like maybe cucumber in the other part now. So you now have to do your budget for, say, tomato now. You want to do your budget, Let's say, for instance, that you are just using, human clearing, assuming that your land is so big and you needed to do a tractor, operation. You also have to put it here. But you can see here, we say quantity required, for instance, 5-man day. In other words, in that your portion of land where you want to grow this your tomato, you need like 5 people that can work on it. And let's say, for instance, like there in the north, in Kaduna, there, the cost of labor is not too much and all of that. And maybe let's say, for instance, that one of them will take 1,000 naira, 1,000, so to say, and there you have 5 of them to work in that very 0.25 hectares of land. And of course, you can see now a unit cost for one person is 1,000, and for 5 persons is going to be 5,000. That is for land clearing. Then you go to land preparation. That land preparation, you may need up to 10-man day work. 10-man day work. So you times multiply, assuming that 1-man day is 1,000, you are multiplied by 10, you are getting 10,000. Then you talk about the seed you want to get. And over there in Kaduna, we have the kind of tomato that is very common, and that is the one that has very high market value, and they call it the Cobra variety. The Cobra variety, and it is always in a sachet, like, and the quantity just like 10 grams, in the pack, and it is sold at 2,000 naira. And in fact, if you can get just one sachet, you'll be able to plant it in. You can take up to more than this size of the land. You can take up to 1 hectare. So with it, you'll be able to do your planting, enough of it, and plant through. Then you have your nursery bed preparations. You have your weeding / general farm sanitation, and you also have like 10-man day for that, and 1,000 per person, and it's going to be at 10,000. Now, you may also have to think of irrigation. Irrigation is one of the things that we even need to give some extra time to talk about, because I'll be showing some of us at the end of this particular class. I'll be showing us some of the pictures of some of the irrigation distance, especially the ones that will not be taking so much water, especially like the drip irrigation, where you just run small pipe, and you open holes, especially at the roots, at just the base of where you planted your crop, and it will be dropping water there. And that water will be well maximized, because it's just giving you the quantity of water you need, small. So, for instance, all you need to get this irrigation, both pumps and hose and the rest of them, may just be like 60,000 for that very hectare, for that very 0.25 hectare of your tomato, of your land that you're going to grow your tomato. So irrigation water now, of course, when you must have gotten the water now, you may also need to pump it. You may need to do some pumping work. So you use your generator to pump, or if you even have NEPA there, you can also use NEPA to pump. But by all means, you need to quantify what you are doing. You understand? Let's assume that you pump water maybe twice in a week, and you are going to continue that for the next 12 weeks. So let's assume maybe you are going to spend like 5,000, on that, 5,000 per week, and you are going to multiply that 5,000 by 12, which is going to give you around 60,000 naira. So you also have like fertilizer. You're going to use fertilizer, call it maybe like 2 bags of fertilizer, maybe NPK fertilizer that sells at 7,500. And also, so for 2 bags, we go for 15,000. Then you also need to use insecticides, insecticide to control pests in that area. So 1 liter of Karat insecticide is around 8,000 naira. So you also have to budget for that. So fungicide too. Fungi attack tomato a lot. So you may need to make arrangements to control fungi in that place. So 1 liter of fungicide there is 2,500. So you will get that. So when it is time for harvesting, or which is called picking, so you may need to have a 10-man day, 10-man day that will likely work. Okay, like call it 5-man day that will work for the picking. So you multiply that by, I think that it's supposed to be 5,000, for the harvest. But I think no, I think I will need to look into that. It should be more than that. So now, when now harvest baskets too, harvesting for baskets, you will now need another 10 persons at maybe 5,000. You buy the basket you are going to store these things, 500 per basket, and you're going to be spending 5,000 on that. So let's assume that your logistics and all of that running around is around 5,000 naira for all of that. So when you add up everything here, you'll be seeing something like 242,500. So 242,500 now, assuming that as at the time of your harvest is when tomato is expensive or whatever. When tomatoes are expensive in Kaduna area, you will see that a basket they sell for as high as 5,000, especially for the good ones, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. But when the cost, when this thing is very, very poor, the prices are poor, when there's too much harvest, especially around that kind of January, December, January, February, you see a whole lot of people are into harvest and all of that. So at that point, you see a basket falling to 3,000 for a very good one. So let's assume that that's when you were harvesting. After all of that, you were harvesting around that kind December, January, February. So the tomatoes have fallen, but the quality of the tomatoes are good. So, and you were able to get like 150 baskets. 150 baskets. So if you multiply 150 baskets by, that is 150 baskets per 0.25 hectares, and you multiply it by 3,000 naira, you'll be getting 450,000 naira. So if your cost of production is 242,500, and your net balance will now be 450,000 minus 242,500. So you'll be getting 207,500, and that will now be your profit. But remember that what we have done here is 0.25 hectares. 0.25 hectares of land, that is what we are using. So here too, we'll be talking for pepper. It's the same thing applies for pepper. You see that here we also have land clearing, we also have land preparation, we have the seed, the type of quality, the seed of pepper that we are likely, maybe looking at here, maybe the kind of seed we are looking at here is, they call it tarugu. It's a big sum, tarugu. So 5 gram, the pack is just 5 gram in it. And it says for 900 naira there. So all of that. But in the case of pepper, you have to do a nursery bed. You do a nursery bed for it. And you also do your weeding. You do your weeding / general farm sanitation and all of that. Let's assume that costs you 10,000. You also do irrigation, and also for generator and fueling, you call it 30,000. So you also do fertilizer, 1 bag for pepper, harvesting baskets. So you also buy harvesting baskets and all of that. So at the end of the day, in the case of pepper, your cost of production may just be around 116,400 naira. So 116,400. And let's assume that your cost of you're getting like 20 bags. You're getting like 20 bags, and in that 20 bags now, you are selling each bag at how much now? Each bag, 20 bags, call it maybe 5,000 naira. So when you sell 5,000 into 20, you'll be getting 200,000 naira. So from there, you'll be able to minus it, and you'll be having your gain as this. So all of these are just estimations. They are projections. Of course, yours mustn't be exactly like this, but this thing we are doing here should be able to give you an idea of what to expect. Now, in the case of Ogo, thank God that Helen is here. Helen is already practicing Ogo farming. So you already know some of the things you are doing. You already know some of your areas of challenges, your areas of weaknesses. But with this table here, you should be able to also look at it and know some areas you need to do some adjustments here and there. So, of course, you also need to do a nursery for ugu. For your ugu, you need to do a nursery bed for it and raise your ugu seed on it and transplant after some days, or maybe after a week or so, or thereabout. So depending on the germination rate of the seed you are using. So you also see all of them, they also follow the same pattern. You see land clearing, you see land preparation, you see seed procurement, you see nursery bed, you see weeding, general farm sanitation, irrigation pump, and hose. You see irrigation water and all of that. And you also do staking. In the case of Teferia, you need to do staking and all of that. You also have to do organic manure. You need to use organic manure for that, and all of that. So based on that, you will be harvesting, doing your picking. You do up to 5 times picking, and you use 5 man day at 5,000 for the harvesting, and also maybe logistics will cost 5,000. So altogether, you'll be getting your Teferia. You spend up to 104,250 naira, and at the end of the day, you're able to have up to 90 bundles, and each bundle goes for 2,500. There in Kaduna, 2,500 per bundle, and you're making 225,000 naira for the 90 bundles you must have gotten. So when you subtract your 104,250, you'll be getting 120,750. So this is projection. Of course, now we have maize too. We have maize. The same thing follows with respect to maize. I don't know if anybody is doing maize for us here. So the same thing follows. Now, also cowpea. Somebody here yesterday was talking about soya beans. Soya beans and cowpea, they are in the same family. So it's the same thing may also be obtainable. But it's unfortunate that today they are not here. But these are some of the things we have. So when you must have finished in maize, it is expected that you have up to 2,000 kg, which is about 20 bags. So when you multiply by 20,000 naira per bag, you get almost 400,000, and all your spendings, it just be like 160. So you are making a gain of 400,000 minus 160,000, 64,000. So 236,000 for maize. Remember that all that we are saying is a situation where all things are being equal, when all things being equal. So let's assume that all of these were farmed in the same plot of land and all in the same maybe hectare. You divided them into 4 and you were able to farm all of these in each of them per quarter. And you are able to get your cost of production as this, 818,250. Your income is 1.6,350,000, and you're already making a gain of, call it 816,750 naira. Also, your fixed assets may be something like your irrigation facility. You may install it because in your next planting season, you may not necessarily start to buy all these irrigation materials again. So you already have them, and that may have cost you like 131,000 something. So these are some of the what we have been able to do for our own advantage. Now, I don't know, some of us, if we are seeing this, the pictures here is about some irrigation pictures, so to say. Irrigation, you can see where we have a tin like this, or a kind of tank. And in that tank, you are connecting your pipe to run through it, and you run it through your field, and you connect some of your hosts, or the irrigation pipes. You connect them to the major pipe there and run them through your farm. And there are a kind of small holes that are there that will be releasing water, small at the very needed quantity to the crops. And when they are released that way, you just realize that, number one, you are not wasting water, and your crops, they are released directly to the crops at exactly where they are needed. So the crops will just pick them up and utilize them for their growth. So it's still something like this. You can see it in the second picture here. It is called drip irrigation system. Drip irrigation system. We can also see it here again, but here we have a situation whereby you have a pumping machine that is pumping out the water directly from the well, and you're connecting it also in that format and all of that. So that's all of that. I know that Mr. Tinuke has done something on value chain. So because we tried to do some work, I was using our maybe farm, so to say, in my school, farm in Kaduna. I was trying to use it to try to do some value chains and all of that. So some of the value chains for rice and all of that, all of these were mentioned yesterday by Mr. Tinuke, and I think that is a field. There may be no need to go into that. So I think this is where we'll be stopping today. Hopefully tomorrow we may just talk about fertilizer. We just talk about fertilizer, hopefully tomorrow when we meet tomorrow. So I think this is where I will be ending it. This is where I'll be ending it. I think those of us who are with me, if you are with me, you can just unmute now and let me know what you have been able to get from the presentation so far. Thank you very much. You can unmute yourself. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sunday. We appreciate your lecture. It's very interesting. So to the house now, we don't know if we have any question. The trainees, if there is any question you have, you can signify your hand electrically, or you type it out so that, or you chat it up so that we can be able to access your question. Thank you. Is there any question? Hello?
Yes, I have a question.
All right, please go ahead. Yeah.
My question is concerning yesterday's lecture you gave us. Okay. You were talking about organic and inorganic manure. Mm-hmm. You talked about plants being organic manure and those fertilizers being inorganic. And before plants can use the plant uses inorganic manure, and organic manure have to turn to inorganic manure before plants can use it. So I want to know which one is better, because people normally say I want organic food and all that. So I don't really understand what you mean. The manure has to turn to inorganic before plant can use it too.
Okay, that is a very interesting question. It shows that you were really following indeed. Before I go into that, among our participants, I don't know if there's anybody that has a question with respect to what we did today, so that we don't, just keep, we wouldn't have spent a lot of time talking on today. Then some people may have forgotten some of the things we did today. Do we have people who have questions on today's zone before I go into answering her question? Or do I just go ahead maybe later if there is anything?
Maybe you can go ahead, Mr. Sunday. Once she's the only one for now. Please just go ahead, sir.
Okay. But I think Lukman is around, but she has.
Yeah, but he's going in, he's coming, he's going out, he's coming in. So the network, and even Ugochukwu also is out now.
Yes, Ugochukwu is out.
Ugochukwu is out now, so.
Okay, Mrs. Helen, just as I said, your question is very, very interesting. You see, if you watch recently, we talked so much about organic farming. We talk so much about organic agriculture. And we also say that some of the things we use, some of the materials, can you just go on mute because the noise is disturbing me? Just mute. You still hear me, please? Good. So, so just as I said that this time around, there's so much advocacy for organic products. The reason is because, to some reasonable extent, it is believed that organic products are safer. You know, they are safer in the body. They are safer. They are more friendly with our body than the so-called synthesized food, or all this. They call some of them chemicals. You know, some people just tell you all these chemicals. Now, the reason is because they are industrially produced. They were produced in the industry. And because they were produced in the industry, they mix up a whole lot of things that will stimulate the genes, you know, of the plant to maybe grow and do all of that. But at the end of the day, those things may be harmful to the body. You understand? Now, the reason why we prefer organic manure, so to say, or organic fertilizer, so to say, is because what you are adding to the soil are just more of dead organic materials, either from plant and animals. But it is now the microbes in the soil, microbial organisms in the soil, that we break them down and decompose them and release them in a form that plant can use them. So with that, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing new that is coming into it. You understand? It's just that organic compound, even if it's poultry manure, even if it is leaves or wood or dead bodies of animals or human beings or whatever. These are all some of the things you will see, you know, on the soil. And over time, you know, plant microorganisms in the soil, even if it's grasses that you cut and place on the soil, microorganisms will act on them. But we only say that microorganisms take quite some time to break down these things before they can be released into a form that plant can use them. And that same form that plant can use them is in the inorganic form. And that inorganic form is that process of converting that organic materials into inorganic form. For instance, when nitrogen materials are added to the soil and they have been decomposed, they form nitrates. Sulfates, phosphates, and you understand? All these things are some of the things that have been extracted chemically now, this time around in the industry, in the you know, companies and all of that, fertilizer companies. They have been extracted with the addition of so many other materials and chemicals to now form them into fertilizers. And these fertilizers are already in the inorganic form. And that is why when you apply your fertilizer now, especially if you are growing vegetables and all of that, if you apply fertilizer now, just give it 3 days, especially if you apply them correctly and there is small moisture in the land, you will already see the effect. You see the effect of those things. That fertilizer you have planted, you applied. But if it is organic materials that you put there, you cannot see the effects just under 3 days. It will take a long time. You understand? So the reason why we advocate for the one that were naturally applied, other than the ones, in fact, in the case of fertilizer, when you buy a bag of fertilizer, you realize that it is always very, very heavy. The actual fertilizer content in that bag is just like 40%. The other 60% may just be all manner of things they added, including earth, including soil. They will gather soil or whatever and mix them up to give it weight, to make it weigh that 50 kg they wrote on that bag. So, but the actual fertilizer there is just like 40%. and there is a lot of mixture in it, chemicals and the rest of them. And we are saying that these chemicals that have been mixed on it, they are dangerous to human beings. So that is the advocacy for organic farming. You understand? So that is there. I don't know if I am making sense in my explanations to you now.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Is there any other lesson?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sunday. So,
Thank you.
Any other question in the house? Mr. Lukman Lawan, do you have any? Hello, Mr. Lukman.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Okay, go ahead with your question, please.
Yeah, so I was just following up on, Mrs. Helen's question and the explanation.
Yeah.
So, if you look at some of these hybrid seeds that we plant, to get a particular yield, there's usually some level of recommended nutrient levels.
Yeah.
Right. So, and in some cases, you physically cannot just get it out of organic manure. And that's a case where you now have to, probably use this
inorganic.
The inorganic ones, because the nutrients are much more concentrated, and you can deliver the required amount. So I guess at the end of the day, it's probably a function of the nutrient requirement to achieve a certain target yield. I mean, combination of inorganic and organic that you need.
Yes.
I just thought actually comment on that. Yeah.
Yes. You're quite correct, because the reason is because even the fertilizers we are talking, we cannot do without it. As it stands now, we can't do without it. The reason is because how will you be able to, assuming you even want to use most of our organic manure, they are not in a form you can readily apply them. If you want to apply poultry manure, for instance, now on a soil where you want to farm, maybe call it cucumber now, or call it even any plant you can, any crop you can think of, you need to apply them at least 2 weeks before the time you even do your planting. The reason is because they are still organic. Some of them, they are very, very hot. If they come close to your crop, they will just burn it off. So if you apply them in the soil, some of them you apply them and incorporate them into the soil and allow it for some time. That time they would have mixed up with the soil and turned to soil now, and they would have sunk into the soil very well. But if you just go and apply like that, they are not cured. They still produce heat. The process of decomposition is still taking place on them. And based on that, they will be very, very dangerous to your crops. But in the case of fertilizers have been made in a form that is easy to manage, it's easy to handle. You understand? You can just go to the fertilizer shop today, carry it and go straight to your farm and apply today, and there's nothing wrong. And it just in the next few days, or you already seen the effect of the fertilizer. So for now, we cannot do without it. But then there are a whole lot of research going on and all of that. With some of them, to some reasonable extent, we are still not going to certify how very wonderful or healthy they are. For instance, if you watch now, some of the hybrid crops they grow now, you will see some things like a small liquid. It will be a small container. They will tell you that this thing you are seeing, they will even call one big price for you. They say all you need is just add it to water and sprinkle it on the soil where you want to plant. And you see those crops doing so well. So all these things are also, some of them, they will tell you they are also organic. So these are some of the advancements and researches that people are coming up with. And we are still not very sure, especially those in breeding and genetics, they are still not very, very sure of how healthy some of those things are until the next 50 years, if all of us that are here are still alive to be telling the story. Because as we are eating those things, we don't know the damage some of them are doing to our bodies. Our forefathers, they are able to live longer because they didn't come in contact with some of these things. So we cannot really guarantee how very healthy they are, until when we have lived very well while living on them. So that is my submission. Thank you very much, Lukman, for that contribution too. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you.
I quite, I'm interested in your topic, and I want to ask a question.
Okay.
The question says, when you want to plant like tomatoes, and you put fertilizer on the soil, and then you now plant, and the harvest, the like corn, let me say corn for example, and then fertilizer, you put everything and you plant, and when you want to harvest, you discover that the corn is not what you expected. Can what really happens?
Okay, when you must have done all you are supposed to do,
Everything, yes.
and when it is time to harvest, you realize that what you have gotten is not what is expected, right?
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Okay. That is why in our yesterday class we talk so much on the source of our seed. Whenever you have done what you are supposed to do and your crop didn't do well, it's mostly usually a genetic factor. Is usually maybe where that seed is coming from, the species of that seed, the variety of that seed is such that no matter what you do, it will remain like that. Some of them may have, maybe you expected very high seed. Some of them may fruit, but the seed may be tiny and they don't have market value. You understand? But
Yes,
then
sir.
the one that sells much in the market are the ones that their seeds are very big. So, but your own, all of them, they yielded very well, but tiny, tiny seeds. So most of it, certified seeds. Go to certified seed dealers, especially maybe research, all these research bodies and all of that. Or you go to that. So when you go to all these places and you ask them, because when there is any research that is done, any breakthrough in any research, when there is any breakthrough in any research, the outcome of those research, they will quickly bring them to ADPs. They will quickly bring them to research institutes where maybe some of those that worked on it there, they will now give it to farmers for field trials. When they must have been tried and they are certified to be good, they can now approve of it. And you know exactly what to expect when you are growing it. You understand? But if you don't do that, you just decided to, go and plant, or just yesterday, you were there when I said I went to the market to buy just from
Yeah.
a corn shop where they sell corn that they sell to people for eating consumption. I just went there to buy a small quantity and went to complete my farming. So when I did that, at the end of the day, my yield was very bad, especially all the places I planted that they were very tall and flourishing, but there was nothing good, from it. But the one I bought from a certified seed dealer gave me what I wanted. Yeah.
Okay, you've answered it. Thank you, sir.
So I don't know if Miss Benedicta, right?
Yes,
I'm sure I've answered the question, right?
Sir.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you very much, Dr.
Okay.
Sunday. We appreciate it. Is there any question also from the house? Hello? Is there any question? Okay, in the absence of none, maybe we should just go ahead with Ms. Atinuke. So, Ms. Atinuke, are you there with us?
Yes, I am here.
All right. Okay. Sorry for Ms. Dr. Sunday, are you okay with the lectures, or do you have any other thing to chip in for the students?
No, I think we may have to bring in my colleague, my partner. Let her to give her own part because, we are 2 minutes.
All right. So,
and I think I've
okay,
taken like 1 hour now.
Much.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
so,
you.
Ms. Atinuke, now, before you begin, should we just go on a short break, like 5 minutes, just to take water, or we should just continue?
It depends on you if you want to take water. Dr. Sonny, you need to take water, right?
Definitely, but my taking water will not
just 5 minutes. You can
affect the class. You understand?
No,
so the class may continue.
Okay.
I have my water here, so I can always take it.
I suggest the class should continue then. I suggest we should just continue with that. So, Ms. Atinuke, you have the floor now, please. Over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, Mrs. Berlin. Right. Good afternoon, Mr. Lukman. Good afternoon, Mrs. Benedicta. Thanks for joining us yesterday. And good afternoon. Mr. Bamdele, for joining us today. Great talk, Dr. Sunday. Like, I really enjoyed your class. You actually, you took us back to farm to analyze everything.
Excuse me, can the moderator, can you mute yourself, please? Moderator. Okay, okay, you can go ahead. Yes, okay. I requested that moderator can mute because of the noise.
Okay, all right.
Please, yeah, thank you.
So it's like you actually took us back to the farm, and that was actually very, very profound presentation. Just to quickly chip in something about the seed, like the question Mrs. Benedita asked. I also want people to know that seed also expire, like there's expiring date for seedlings that you want to cultivate. So even if you're buying from a certified seed companies or research institute, we should also check for the expiring date so that we don't buy expired seeds, and this will also tell on our production. So now I actually promised some things yesterday. Like I made a promise of showing the factory so that we can see some equipment. So I had to come to the factory so that I can do this presentation. Then also for the farm record and the stems. No, sorry, the tuber, the cassava tuber. Sorry, I was unable to go to the farm to get the tuber, but I'm actually in the factory. I will definitely show you the equipment at the factory. Then for the farm record, I'm actually working for individual, like for Lukman for tomatoes and for Elaine and Ugochu for the cassava and the other guy for soybean, so that you can all have all this personally. So if there's a way we could share, get your email so that I can send it directly to you so that you can see. So I'm trying to factor it to your own line of business so that you can. So that is why I'm not sharing that now. But now this before showing you around the factory, let's quickly do some of the things that we're supposed to do today again. Okay, by the end of today, we should be able to determine the right sources for credit facilities. That's one of the topics we'll be talking about, where you could get some different sources of you getting credit facilities for your business. We'll also talk about the cost benefits of your business. Like I told you yesterday, get your pen, get your biro. You'll be doing a lot of calculations today. Then process of assessing and managing credit, then demonstrating financial discipline and managing your stock. So those are the things I'll be doing in about 1 hour so that we can all so that we can have the tour around the factory. Now, first thing is determining the right sources of credit facilities. Now, we should know that credit facilities are just like monetary facilities that you want to use to run your business. So let's make it monetary now. And that is why most of us are in this class, so that we want to get the nicer CBN loan so as to expand our business. But I should also let you know that there are several ways you could get money. So it's not just from CBN or from the government. You're getting money for your business can be from your family or your friend. Like I said yesterday, that sometimes necessarily it's not just the money that we need. We also need it might be just training that we need just to expand. But all the same, you can also get family and friends to invest into your business, or to give you money to start your business, or to give money to expand your business. Family and friend money is safer than bank loan, because for bank loan, you are going to submit, like you get to have a collateral at this. Although for this, you might not even submit a collateral for this, but for you to get a facility money from the bank, you might have to submit a collateral, and but when you get from your family and friends, it's quite safer. Now, for another way you could get money for your business also is personal financing from your own savings. As a business owner, as a business person, you should have a a savings for your business. Don't just spend all your cash flow, because if you're going to spend all your cash flow, I'm telling you, you might run out of business in a short while, and you feel, what am I doing wrong? You won't know it's your cash flow that you're just spending and spending. You should have like a savings for your business. Another aspect of getting credit facilities for your business is through investors. Um, Investors are people that brings money into your business for them to get returns, or people that bring money into your business for them to get an equity in your business. And if you look at the agricultural sector right now, we have a lot of people coming online to tell you you can invest in tomatoes for 3 months and get this also returns. You can invest in cassava production for so months and get these returns. Now, people that are putting in money for those time are people that are investing their money. So for investors, we also have different type of investors. We have angel investors, we have impact investors, we have venture capitalists. Now, for impact investors are the type of investors that they bring you money because your product or your business actually solving a problem, like one of the SDG goals. Maybe the reason why Lukman is going into tomatoes is to address what's it called, post-harvest losses in tomato production. And if you bring this to the one of the SDG goals is like you ending hunger and all that, all that type of thing. So they also wish you could also actually link what you're doing to SDG goals. We have several SDG goals that are actually related to agriculture. So if you can link that, then that can help you attract impact investors into your business. We also have people we call angel investors. Now, angel investors are people, they are like billionaires. They have the money and they invest into what is their own interest. If they are interested in agriculture, they invest into agriculture, but they would never invest in technology because they don't have interest in technology. And these are type of investors that they might not necessarily get an equity from you. They might actually get you to give them returns at the end of the year or at the end of the signed contract year. And this type of investors also provide you with mentorship and all for you to grow. Now, venture capitalists. Now, personally, me, I call these people, this type of investor, wicked investor. I'm sorry to use the word wicked investor, because they are so interested in the money they want to get from you after investing into your business. Like, they are ready to get an equity, they are ready to get a returns, they are ready, like, in fact, sometimes venture capitalists also want to make like the major decision for you in your business. You could get them if you feel you meet their terms and conditions, or their terms and conditions is something that you can go with. They can invest into your business, but know that you'll be giving them equity in your business, you will give them returns. And they sometimes, most of them want to get they want to be like the major people giving you decision, like decision makers in your business. So those are different ways that we could access credit facilities for our business. And the one we are doing right now, getting bank loans. Now, in getting bank loans or in getting loans from the government, or even from any other sources, I always advise startups that please, if you're going to be getting loan, please get a single digit loan that is from 1% to 9%. If it's extending 9%, you are shooting yourself on your own personal leg. You are the one shooting yourself, cocking the gun and shooting yourself. Get a loan that you know that by the time you calculate the profit, the returns is something that you can be able to, something that you can be able to return within the scheduled time. So those are different ways of getting credit facilities for your business. So another thing I also be talking about is analyzing the cost benefit for your business. Now, what is cost benefit and why is cost benefit actually very important? So cost benefit, simply in summary, is like you analyzing the costs of the equipment, your costs of planting, your cost of your tractorization on your farm, your cost of harvesting, and analyzing the benefit, like the profit you'll be getting from whatever thing you want to start. Like Mrs. Elinda, I want to start your cassava factory. Now, for you to know if you're going to venture into it, one of the beautiful things that you need to do is do your cost analysis, your cost benefit. It is you sitting down and analyze the different type of equipment that you'll be needing. And you sit down to analyze, okay, by the time I get this equipment, what are the tonnage of this equipment? How many tons of gari will I be getting every day? How many tons of starch would I be getting every day? Okay, you have to analyze these two things, bring them together and look at and weigh them. Which one is higher? If the cost of equipment or cost of purchasing is more than your returns, please do not go into such business. Please do not go into such business. And if you know that, okay, even if it's higher in the first year and you cannot break even in that same first year, do not go, because you are a startup. It might actually break you, and you know that you're actually starting with a bank loan or from an investor. You can only risk this because you are starting with your own money or with your own savings or with your family friend money. So you need to weigh this to know which one is more profitable. Okay, if I invest into this, okay, when will I start making profits? You need to do that cost analysis. Cost analysis is actually very, very, very important in whatever business sector we actually venture into, because it will let us know the revenue they're spending, your fixed asset cost, your how will I call it now? Your fixed assets, your income, your expenditure. It will let you know, and you'll be able to find a balance around, so you know when you are breaking even. Now, breaking even is the stage where the money you invested into your business and the money you gain after selling your products meet at the same level. Like maybe you invested 10 million and at the end of the day you made 10 million from selling. So both are the same level. So that is what we call break-even point. So you're not making loss, you're not gaining, and you're not losing. So they meet at the same level. That is break-even, and that is why cost benefit analysis is actually very, very important. Before I move to the next one, also in the cost of getting credit facilities for your business, let me quickly talk about some of the investors that, even if you want to get investors, some of the investors that you should avoid when you want to get money. And please don't think money is everything for you in business. It is not everything. And don't think every money that comes to you or every money that people brings to you is something that you need to get. Some money are problem to your business. So you just need to find a way of discerning which is not a problem to me, and which is good for me. You get? So let me quickly talk about some of the investors that you should avoid. Okay, avoid investors that if both of you have issues at the end of the day, you don't have money to battle them in court. If you don't, because if both of you have issues and the matter is sent to court and all that, if they have so much money than you, they might eventually take up your company, and it's as if they are taking hold of your whole life. Avoid investors that are self-centered. Now, I call them self-centered in a way that by the time they draft their contracts, and you feel everything in that contract is only favoring them, it's not favoring your business, it's not favoring you, it's not favoring your growth, please avoid them. Those two people are actually, they can actually bring you down. So now, the next thing that we also want to talk about is explaining the process of assessing and managing credit. Oh, that's credit, that's the money. Now, I've told you how you can access money. Now, one of the things that is actually very important in accessing money is having your business plan, like your structured business plan. I know that there was a business plan class today, and I'm very sure that we all attended the class. Please, if you did not attend the class, maybe you should request for how you can attend that class, because I actually went through the whole timetable and I realized there was a class on business plan. You need to have your structured business plan that talked about what your company do, what you guys are into, how you're going to make money, what are you spending money on, your forecast, your business forecast, your financial forecast. People want to see, even banks even want to see. And I always tell people that before you write your business plan, or before you bring all this thing to your business plan, please start with having your business model canvas. With business model canvas, is like if you send a business model canvas to an investor, it's like having an overview of what your business is all about, because your business model canvas talks about your cost structure, talks about your revenue, it talks about how you're going to make money, it talks about your customer, it talks about your direct and both indirect customers, it talks about your own business, like having your own business on a page. Please, I'm still saying, go back to that business plan class that you were told this morning. That will actually help you to structure that. Now, if you have your business plan structured, then it is easy for you to be able to access loan from whatever source you want to access it from for your agricultural business. Now, I'm managing this fund. Now, I always tell people, if you want to access money for your agri-business, especially agri-business, please, everything you want to do with that money, write them down. Because I tell people, money sometimes is demonic. Because by the time you receive the money, and the money is shining face at you, then you start spending the money on something else. And that is why I remember doctor talking about some people got you win, and at the end of the day, you don't know where they are today. I know of someone that got that same you win and spent that money on wedding. But he did wedding, bought car for his wife, bought car for himself, from government money, from money that is meant for business. And not when government look at these things, or people that give you the money look at these things, it will actually discourage them from giving you more money. So, as a business owner, or as someone that you want to start a business that you want to be sustainable and profitable, those two things are actually very, very important. Your business has to be sustainable. Like, even if it's not profitable in the front, because most agricultural business are not profitable to like the third or fifth year. But your business has to be sustainable. It has to be sustainable. It must be able to run on its own, even when you don't have access to more funding. It has to be sustainable. So please list all the equipment you want to buy. Mr. Lukman wants to get equipment for irrigation. Please list them down. Put price. Now, put price of those things down. Put sources of where you're going to be getting those equipment from. I so much love this LISA CBN loan, because by the time they'll definitely be requesting for your fabricators. Maybe you want to fabricate equipment, or you want to get some equipment from people. They will definitely request for the number of a fabricator. So if you are lying to them, they will know. If you are lying to them, they will know. If you actually shoot up the cost of those things, they will definitely know. So write the list of what you're going to be getting. Write them down. Write their prices. Write the sources. Have like an accountability partner that will definitely be pushing you and be telling you, no, this is what you said you want to do at this time. Don't just collect the money and just sit down on it and just do whatever you want to do with the money. First thing is, by the time you get this loan, the things you say you want to do, please do them. Dr. Sunday already told us some of the things that if you're going into cultivation, like if you want to plow your land, you want to get seed, you already analyze today when you need to plow, when you need to plant, so you can actually be channeling the money to that period. Maybe by July you need to do your first plowing, by July ending you need to do your second plowing, by August you need to plant. And please, you have to have those ones in record so that you know when to use certain amounts of money. And please, another thing is, do not withdraw more than what you need at a time. Do not withdraw what you need more than what you need at a time, because by the time you feel you have excess money in your you are carrying excess money, then you spend it on what you're not supposed to spend it on. So those are the things that will also help you to manage the funding that you'll be getting for your agricultural um agricultural business. For people that want to, for Mrs. Elaine, for Mr. Goshiku that want to go into cassava processing, I would advise that if by the time you know the equipment you want to get, you already know the cost, you already know the fabricator that you want to use, immediately you get the loan, transfer the amount of money you want them to do, you want to use for fabricating, transfer it to them, so that you know that you sorted that area. If you still have that money in your pocket or you have that money in bank, you'll be having the sense of belonging, that the money belongs to you. The money do not belong to you. The money, you are being borrowed the money to run for a certain period of time. Have it at the back of your mind, the money is not yours, it is government money and you are paying back. So you need to manage this finance well. Then we move to how to demonstrate financial discipline. That's one of the things we're expected to also know. In that, I want us to watch a video that was attached to, if you've actually gone through the timetable or you've gone through the curriculum for this class, for this session, you will know that there is a video that was attached to this session. So it's just a short video, I think about 10-minute video, so that we could understand some of the things, the basic things, that your fixed cost, your liability, as your liability, your stocks and all that. I've watched the video, but it's just so good if you can watch the video so we can discuss around the video. So let me see if I can share my screen and we'll watch the video together. So, okay, so here is the video. Let me know if you can hear him. Doctor, can you hear him?
Hello, I can hear you here. I can. Okay. The video is not loud. The video is not loud. The video itself is not loud.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you clearly, but the video, I can't hear what they are saying there.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's improving.
Okay, fine.
Hi, my name is PJ, and welcome to our short presentation. Have you ever wondered how the rich keep getting richer while broke people stay broke and the middle class seems to be shrinking? Well, this isn't nearly as mysterious as it may appear when you examine the specific differences in how broke people, the middle class, and the rich spend their money. Now, this is such a simple concept, yet so profound, it nearly knocked me out of my chair when I finally understood it. I'm going to show you exactly how the rich spend their money, and you can evaluate for yourself why they keep getting richer and the broke keep getting broker, and why the middle class remains so stressed out. Now, to get started, I'd like to review some financial terms we'll be using during this presentation. The terms that you need to be familiar with are cash flow, which means money you bring in, expenses, which means money you spend, assets. Now, this is the most confusing one. You're probably familiar with the traditional definition of an asset, which is something you own or have equity in. However, back in the 1990s, Robert Kiyosaki introduced us to a new definition of an asset in his groundbreaking Rich Dad, Poor Dad series of books. Robert taught us that an asset is something that pays you, and that's the definition we'll be using here. Liabilities is the last term, and it's defined as things that cost you money. As an example, a house is typically viewed as an asset, but can it actually be a liability? Yes, with our revised definition, anything that costs you money is a liability, not an asset. If you have a mortgage, your house is an asset to your banker because it pays him or her every month. But could a house also be considered an asset to you? Yes, in the right circumstances it could, when it pays you money. Let's say you buy a house and you rent it out, and it paid you a positive cash flow every month after all expenses. That would then be considered an asset. Now, one more time with the terms, just to be very clear before we continue. Cash flow is money you make. Expenses, that's money you spend. An asset pays you, and a liability costs you. Now let's take a look at how broke people spend their money. Now, when I say broke people, I'm not referring to the destitute. I'm speaking about that large portion of our society that lives from paycheck to paycheck and who never seem to have any money. In fact, most times there's more month left at the end of their money, and I'm sure many of you can relate to that group. On payday, broke people buy what I'm going to call stuff. Well, what's stuff? Well, that's inexpensive things that people buy that they don't really need to survive. You go into someone's house and you can't find any counter or tabletop space in the whole house because of all the stuff on it. Their house and their cars are full and cluttered with stuff. But where do they get all this stuff? They buy it at the flea market, at the garage sale, at the dollar store, at the craft show. So cash flow comes in, and then it goes straight out the expense column to buy stuff. You see, broke people never really educate themselves on assets and liabilities. They justify buying all of this stuff by claiming that it costs so little. But over the years, it's all they ever have. The problem is their cash flow never produced or created more cash flow. Now, please understand, I'm not undermining or taking any shots at this or any group. I just see a lot of financial difficulty out there, and it really doesn't need to be that way. Creating wealth isn't a mystery, it's a formula. The only reason someone doesn't create wealth is because they either don't know the formula or they don't apply the formula. Now let's take a look at the middle class. The middle class is the group that society mistakenly thinks are rich. They're not. Yes, they typically earn a six-figure income, and many of them appear rich, but it's what they buy with their money that keeps them prisoners of the middle class. What they typically buy are liabilities. Remember the definition of a liability? Things that cost you. By buying liabilities, the money gets pushed up and out their expense column. Liabilities are items like cars, boats, houses, airplanes, credit card debt. Now let's see just how this happens. The middle class gets a nice paycheck, let's say $10,000 per month. They then split that down the middle, and they pay their monthly expenses with half, and with the other half, they make a down payment on a new car. The car costs $5,000 down, and after they add on the insurance and the maintenance, that liability now costs $1,100 new dollars every single month. A few months go by, and they want a boat, then a vacation home, a Rolex watch on their credit card, a vacation on their credit card. And before you know it, their liabilities have raised their expense levels to near or above their income levels. They actually spend equal to or more than they make. Meaning that they have to go to work and make a certain amount of money every single month just to cover their liabilities. The other important issue with both broke people and the middle class is that normally all of their cash flow is dependent on their own effort, meaning that they've educated themselves to exchange their knowledge and expertise for someone's money. Also, the money they earn is usually the highest taxed form of income. Here's an example. An attorney is knowledgeable about law, so people pay him or her in exchange for that knowledge on an hourly basis. The problem here is that if the attorney isn't sharing that knowledge with a client, then the attorney isn't making any money. This causes lots of stress and anxiety in their lives, And if you ever ask them to take an afternoon off to play golf with you, well, they very rarely can because of how much money it'll cost them to take that time off. On the surface, life's pretty good. The reality is that it's a roller coaster ride. That's the middle class. Now, I know this group very well because for a great deal of my adult life, that was me. Now let's take a look at how the rich people spend their money. Rich people acquire assets. Again, an asset is something that pays you. If you want to become rich, buy assets that earn you more money. The money cycle looks like this. Acquire assets that produce cash flow, invest the profits to acquire more assets that produce more cash flow, invest those profits to acquire more assets that produce more cash flow. The rich spend their money and acquire things that produce more money. Here are a few examples of assets that produce more money. Investments are the obvious ones: stocks, bonds, real estate. Education is another asset. If you learn how to do something that produces more money for you and you actually do it, that's buying an asset. There's a great quote that goes, if you think education is expensive, you should see how expensive stupidity is. Another example of assets you can acquire that pay you are cash-generating opportunities, especially those opportunities that can create a passive cash flow. Passive, meaning that once you build it up, the money continues to flow whether you're still building it or not. Here's a small example. Let's suppose you bought a pinball machine and you put it in a barber shop. You don't spend any of the profits. You save them until you can buy another pinball machine and put it in another barber shop. This, by the way, was Warren Buffett's first business. If you don't know who Warren Buffett is, he's one of the top 2 richest men in America. The rich are extremely eager to find those passive cash-generating opportunities because those opportunities continue to pay them month after month, year after year, long after they've stopped working the opportunity. You know, I see this happen again and again with successful entrepreneurs. They find a passive cash flow stream that they build out, and it continues to pay them month after month, year after year. They then take those profits and multiply them in another passive cash-generating opportunity, and then again in another. In conclusion, here's what I've learned over the years. You can't find these passive cash-generating opportunities unless you're open to hearing about them. Then, once you find them, you must be willing to see what fits you and then act. Now, the reason I say this is that I once answered a hokey little ad that I ended up generating 7 figures from, simply because I answered that ad and then took action. These opportunities are out there. You just need to find them. You also must be opportunistic enough that when the right situation does present itself, you don't miss it. So remember, broke people buy stuff, the middle class buy liabilities, and the rich acquire assets, preferably cash-generating opportunities that can create passive cash flow. They then take that cash flow and invest it in another asset that produces more cash flow. That's the wealth creation formula. Now, I trust you found this introductory information helpful. Now, to learn about one of the greatest cash-generating machines on the planet, click on the link below to proceed to step 2.
Call it whatever you want. It's all
Hello.
a $100 billion a year business.
Sorry, let me quickly close that video.
Part-time or full-time, and can be started at home with no large capital outlay.
So back to the class. Yes, hello. Are we back?
Hi, we're with you. We're with you.
Okay, thank you very much. And I hope we all saw that video. So I should ask the question. Are you a broke person? Are you the middle class, or are you acquiring asset for yourself? So you yourself should be able to answer that question. So you see, when I was telling us when I started, like when you have this money, you only have this sense of belonging that this money belongs to you. Not you actually take that as a subconscious that, oh, the money is for business, but you feel, this money is in my hand, I can use to buy stuffs. I used to buy stuff, just like people that spend, you win money on cars, on wedding, on house, and that's a liability, and that is why they end up being broke. I remember doctors saying that the person actually went back to start getting a lecturing job and all that. They went back to their square one, which they are supposed to use that money to invest that money to be able to get more money, assets. And you can see from that view, that is what rich people do. And that is why the rich people will continue to get rich, and they will get richer. And that is, we actually want you also to be able to invest your money to be able to get assets so that you can continue to grow. That is why, that is why we are doing all these things. Yes, you are into agriculture, but the aspect of money management, the aspect of finance management, the aspect of finance discipline is actually very, very important, because it is the joy of people that brought this together to see you that you are striving, even after so many years of them investing money into you. So now from that video, we already know what our cash flow is. Cash flow is whatever comes into you. Your expenses is what you spend. Asset is what is you got and is giving you money. Your equipment are giving you money if they are not being dormant, if you're actually working. If you got machinery, if you got machines, if you got irrigation materials, and you are using it the way you're supposed to use it, you are planting from time to time, you are processing your gari from time to time, you are processing your starch, you are processing everything you want to do from time to time, and you are selling and you are making money. It's an asset to you because it's actually bringing money into your company, it's bringing money into your business. But after getting these things, you just felt, I'm so tired of this business. I am not making, you start spending money on maintenance of those equipment, or by the time the machine got rotting, liability, and you need to pay back loan, it's only taking money from you. You abandon the equipment. I visited a factory last month. It was a cassava factory. So I went on a visit to the factory to see what they are doing and all that. And the man was telling me that the factory started 2010, and he actually closed down the factory and opened again 2020. Now, during those periods that the factory was closed down, 2010, 2020, 10 years interval, it has actually become a liability because he had to spend money on servicing this equipment and all this, doing some new thing that he's supposed to do, as repairing so many things. For that 10 years, he wasn't making money from that, so it was a liability for him. Now that he has started again, now, well, we can't say he's going to recover the 10 years at once, no, but at least with time, if he's being consistent. So one of the beautiful things that financial discipline do for us is, once you are being consistent, then you make more money. That's why these people like Dangote, it's not like those people don't have what they spend money on. They do. But because they are making their business sustainable, they also borrowed money just like the way you want to borrow money from NISA or CPN loan. But they make sure that they invested the money on what is supposed to be, they invest on. They did not use it to buy stocks. They did spend it to buy stocks. And that is why I watched that video yesterday, and I'm like, okay, it's very important for everyone to watch that same video so that you can understand. Not like I'm just mere saying, just a mere saying. So please, one of the things that can guarantee your happiness in business, especially in agriculture, you know that agriculture is not something that's actually very stable. Now, let me give you a scenario of what is happening now in agriculture. Now, for people in cassava, I think I mentioned this yesterday. Cassava is not expensive. So for the people in processing, people are now saying that people in agriculture are the ones that are making money in this period of pandemic. Let me tell you, it's not people in agriculture are making, but not people in processing, especially when you're processing cassava. The people that are making money at the moment in cassava production are the farmers, because now they sell their cassava at a time, like 100% increase on cassava product, on cassava right now. So the people in production, you cannot, especially if you are making gari, you cannot sell above what is being sold in the market. Even if you are going to sell above what is being sold in the market, there's going to be a little profit, because you cannot compete with the general market. Only if you are going to be exporting. And see, exporting, you cannot even export at this time because of the pandemic and all. So you need to make sure that you are ready for all these things, and your readiness also in your financials. A lot of agricultural sectors have actually closed down in this period of pandemic, but your financial management, your financial discipline will also help you. Not spending all your cash flow. Now, that's actually very important. Once you sell your products, please have savings. Like I said earlier, have savings from the profit, not from the expenses. Now, you have your production cost. That's your net income. You have your production cost, you have your selling cost, and you have your profit at the end of the day. Now, from your profits, please have savings from your profits, and please make sure that you are investing the money back into your business. Don't just say, okay, I'm not making money, I can use it to buy stuffs, and by the time you're using it to buy stuffs, you end up being broke. Invest this money back into your business and have a strategy of paying yourself, because by the time you're not paying yourself, this is a period when you feel you can just dip money into the business and just take money to buy food, to stock your house with food. Remember, it is business money, it is not your personal money. The food in your house is your personal income from your personal money. Fueling your personal car to go to Owambe or to go to your friend's place is your personal money, it is not business money. You can only fuel your car if the assignment you are going for at that present moment is for business. You can fuel your car from the business money. But please, once it is not business occasion, do not spend business money on it. And that is what we always tell entrepreneurs, to always pay themselves. And once you are paying yourself, don't say you are the CEO and start paying yourself 100,000 naira at the beginning, or start paying yourself 500,000 naira because you are the CEO. No. You have to look at what is sustainable and profitable for your business. That is what we call financial discipline. That is what we call financial management, which is very, very, very important. The next thing we'll be talking about is your stock management. Now, what do we mean by stock? Now, definitely in production, by the time you produce your goods, what you have after production that you've not sold is stock. What you have, your raw materials that you've not used, that you've already bought, they are stocks. So you need to find a way of managing these things. I always tell people that before you go into any business, and I also think I talked about it yesterday, before you invest your money into any business, please have already made market that are ready to offtake your gari, have already made market that are ready to offtake your tomatoes, have already market that are ready to offtake your soya bean, already market that are ready to offtake whatever you are producing, so that you don't have so much of inventories in your warehouse or in your factory, so that you don't have a lot of tomatoes that are going to be wasting off. You have to look for a way of the whole management boils down to your marketing and your sales. Sales is business itself, not just production. Sales is what make us know that you are doing business. If you are just producing and they're just making money, that's not to liability. It is no more assets. You're just producing, and not selling. It is not a liability. It has not to inventory. Your raw materials too. Do not get more than raw materials that you need maybe per month or per year or for about 2 or 3 months, so that you don't have so much inventory, you don't have so much raw material. You don't tie your money down. I tell people, do not tie your money down in whatever you feel you won't be able to get money from, so that they don't turn to liability. So you need to have a plan, just like what we talked about yesterday, your product planning. You need to have those plans. So those are the things that can help us to manage our finances. By the time we're able to manage those things, by the time you go to access grants or credits or loans from people, by the time you're able to talk about how you manage your finances, by the time you manage and talk about how you manage your stocks, by the time you talk about how you do your cost benefit, then it will be easy for them to give you loan, because they will have the confidence that you'll be able to pay back this money. So now that I've talked about the cost benefit, the stock management, your financial discipline, those are the major things under financials that we are supposed to be talking today, and I think I have addressed that. So before we do the old factory touring to see for those in cassava, for Elaine and Ugochukwu, so that for you to see some of the equipment you can buy, let me just take a few questions. Let me take questions, and we can now do the whole tour, the factory tour. So please, if you have questions, you can now unmute your mic and ask. Please, are we together?
Yes, I have a wish. Hello?
Yes, ma'am, there.
You say you will send a document to her. How do we send our emails to you?
Okay, I will type in my email address now for everybody to see. Then I'll put in my phone number too, so that you can just send me your email through WhatsApp. Okay, this is my phone number: 072447885, and that's my phone. Oh, sorry, number is not correct. 070447885. Okay, that's the phone number. Then my email is so you can just send me your email address through WhatsApp to that number. So I would and your name, please, so that I know who I'm sending to. Okay, sir. I have your email and your phone number already, doctor.
Yes, I'm sending it because of them too.
Okay, fine.
Because some of the materials I use, I may also need to forward to them.
Okay. Okay. So please, your name and your email address, so that I can be able to send the one that talks about cassava to the person that owns cassava and all that. So is there another question? Mr. Lukman, Mr. Gochukwu. Are they with us? Mr. Lukman.
Hello, Mr. Lukman. I don't think Mr. Lukman is on.
Hello,
Mr. Lukman.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, Mr. Lukman.
Yeah, we can hear him.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks very much. I just thanks for the presentation and financial discipline and all. It's very useful. I don't have any questions or comments for now. Thanks.
Okay. So
Ugochukwu, where are you? We've not.
I'm here.
Mr. Ugochukwu.
I'm here.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Thank
Yeah,
you
I'm with the
very
class.
much.
Yes.
That's good.
I'm going to ask question, but I want when the facilitator move to the next stage about the machines. That is where I think I might have one or two things to say. But so far, the analysis she gave is I very appreciate that. So I'll just wait for the next stage where we can make inputs. For now, there's nothing really to say now.
Okay.
That's great.
So, Ms. Achinka, I think you still have the floor now. You can go ahead with the lecture.
Okay, let me just enter into the main factory so that I can show you all the things they'll be needing. So I am here, and so let me start from the first thing that you'll be needing, which is for those people in cassava, which is your pillar. So I'm going to where the pillar is right now. Okay. So this is a small scale cassava pillar. So this on the average does about 100 kg of cassava at once. It fills 100 kg of cassava in about 10 minutes. This can also do that in about 10 minutes. So now the first thing is after peeling, then you grate. Now for people that are just starting, that you really don't have so much, or maybe the investment is not that much for you, or the loans they're getting is not much, you might not need to buy. Okay, sorry, they want to show you the way the pillar works. Just hold on. My team are on the ground to show you. Oh, yeah, on it. Okay. So this is the way it works and So that's the way it works. So once your cassava enter into that machine, that's the way it rolls and peels your cassava. Like you can do like 100 kg in about 10 minutes. Now, the next thing that you need to do from the peeling is, this is the grater. This is your grating machine. So this grates about 1.5 tons of cassava in roughly about 15-20 minutes. Yeah, about 15-20 minutes. So this is a grater. So one of the things that actually make your grater fast is, one, from the fabricator that you're fabricating from, and number two, the capacity of the motor that is in your grater. So this is one of the things you'll be needing. And just make sure that you also be needing a stainless steel for your production. Don't use just ordinary metal. We need a stainless steel. Now, from this level, from peeling to grating, you come to, this is what we call hydraulic press. This is a semi-automated hydraulic press, and this is a manual hydraulic press. So you can see that this is a manual hydraulic press. This is a semi-automated hydraulic press. Now, this is what presses the water off from your gari, or from your, if you want to make it to flour, or if you want to make it into lapo, or whatever, for whatever you want to make it into. This actually drains the water from the hydraulic press. So this is the hydraulic press. Now, from this level, now if you're making into your gari, or you want to make it into your flour, now this is what we call a pulverizer. Now your pulverizer actually looks just like your grater, but the grater can serve as a pulverizer or as your grating machine. But we use this for pulverizing. That this is what makes your cake into what will I call it now? What you fry on fire. So if you know you cannot fry the cake, some people use what we call ajo or sieve, the hair sieve, to break it down before frying. But this is what we use. It's called a pulverizer. Now from this level, you come in here. So now I want to actually explain something here. This is a gari fryer. This fries your gari. Now let me see if I can one of the operators that they can show us how it well, I think they okay. Sorry, it's not right. Now this is a gari fryer. This fries your gari, and this can fry about 30 kg of cake at once in about space of about 15 minutes. So, and if you have this too, this you can do about 1.5 like 3 tons of cassava in a day. and that gives you about roughly about 10 bags. Yeah, about half ton of gari in a day. Now, if you did not like, or the money or the mudon you get is not much, do not invest into automated fryer at first. Now, there is a stainless steel fryer. There is what we call stainless steel fryer. Now, stainless steel fryer is what is like a manual fryer, like what the old women use and this. But this is the stainless steel. It is long and is stainless steel because it's what NAFDAC would definitely require from you. But if you don't, if you know that the money you get is more and is okay for you to get an automated gari fryer, it is good. Just one of it is about 1.8 million, just one. On the tomato fryer is 8 million. But you can do the stainless, you can start from the stainless. We started from stainless steel frying, that's the hand frying. I really wish I could take you to the second factory where we could see where we have the stainless steel, the hand frying method. You can start from that. Please do not necessarily invest your money into machines alone, because if you invest your money into machines alone, you might not be able to get much money to start production. Now, for people that want to go into cassava flour, now this is a machine called flash dryer. This is what is called flash dryer. Now, this is what makes your cake, your cassava cakes, gets dry in a twinkle of an eye. This is a flash dryer. Now, your flash dryer can do your cassava flour. It can do cassava flour. It can do your ogi flour. That's your pap flour. Yes, you can use that. You can use for fufu powder. If you want to use it for fufu powder, you want to make your cassava into fufu powder, you can actually do that. Your cake comes from here, enters here, and comes out from here. So in just a tick of an eye, it gets dry. Now, these are some of the major machines that you definitely will be needing. But like I said, if the money, now the flash dryer costs about 10 million naira to get one. So you know that I'm very sure the loan you're getting is not up to that. Even if it's something that is more than that or something that is up to that, you should not just spend your money on equipment alone. You can start small. Let me tell you a little story about Cattle Foods. Now, when we started, we did not have flash dryer. We did not have automated gari fryer. But what we were doing is what we call contract manufacturing, which I always encourage startups to start with. Now, what do I mean by contract manufacturing? Now, contract manufacturing is a situation where you have a factory that already have all this equipment. You go there and you sign a contract with them, like you're bringing your cake to make into flour. Can you help me? How much will it cost me? And they'll make it to flour, and you come and pack your flour and you package with your own packaging material. You can do that because one flash dryer is like 10 million naira. So do you have 10 million naira to invest into that? So if you don't, so please do not do that. You can, but also I always advise people to that if you're doing contract manufacturing, the most important part of your manufacturing or your secret trademark, the secret of a business, you should not let it out to the person that is actually offering you that service. So now with the tour that we've done, so we can now come back to the class so you can now answer your question.
Oh, thank you very much, Ms. Atsunike. Mr. Ugochukwu, I think you have the floor now to have your question. Hello, Mr. Ugochukwu.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, you can ask your question now.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, we are with you.
Okay, she says something about the gari fryer. Hello. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Gochiku.
Okay.
Yeah, we are with you, Mr. Ogochukwu.
Okay. So for me, for the Gary fryer, what I wanted to do was to get the big tray, the big pan, where I get the local women from the community where the farm is to do the frying. I don't know,
Yeah, that's what we
with
call
that,
stainless steel fryers.
the stainless, so with that not as regard the issue of NAFDAC, because they might start in terms of hygiene and all that, wouldn't that be a problem?
No, it won't be a problem. Once your fryer is stainless steel, it
Okay.
is not a problem. All you just need to do for NAFDAC is your environment is actually very neat. You are able to partition or separate your wet area. Now, the wet area is where you wash your cassava, where you grate your cassava, where you jack or use hydraulic press for your cassava. You're able to demarcate your wet area from your dry area. Now, the dry area talks about where you fry your gari, where you sieve your gari, and where you bag your gari. They want you to have a demarcation. Have a very neat environment. Possibly, they might even tell you if your facility is not fenced, they might ask you to fence it. But you can still escape that by telling them that by the time you are making money, you will fence. And they want to know if your source of water is borehole or just ordinary well, because they always prefer a borehole, and they want you to put a water filter or filter the dirt and all that. So it is not a problem once your machines are stainless steel. Like the word is stainless steel. When they are stainless steel, it is not an issue.
Okay, like this stainless steel stainless steel fryer.
Yes. Hello?
Yeah. How many tons? Don't forget that you're going to be engaging people to do it. It's more a manual thing. So how many do you think you can do in a day from this stainless fryer?
It depends on their capacity. It depends on how fast they are. It depends on
Okay.
their experience. If, like I always tell people, if you want to start something like that, always get people that are into it, that can put you through, that can lecture your fryers. Because let me tell you one secret. One of the secrets I do for these women is I give them time to start, because I already know with the time, I already know what they can do per day. So from your one stainless steel fryer, if you have serious people that are ready to work for you, and they start 8 o'clock and they're ending like 5 o'clock, at least they should be able to do about 150 kg of gari for you.
Wow. Okay.
Per day. From, let's say from one fryer. But some stainless steel are actually very long. The one we have actually very long, that two people can actually manage that. So they should be able to do average of 100 to 150.
And you say the stainless steels are like how much?
Well, stainless steel at the moment is something that is actually close to about 800. I don't want to give you, I don't want to assume, but by tomorrow, don't worry, I'll give you the price by tomorrow, as in the latest price.
Okay, but this is a peeling machine, and the grater must be run on power, right?
Your grater and your peeling machine is on power, yes. They must be on. They are run on power. Power is power. There's nothing you can do to it.
Okay.
Although, if your fabricator is actually very good, there are some peeling machines that uses what do we call it, like all this grinding machine engines and all that.
Okay.
And you can use diesel. Yeah, diesel. They're diesel powered grater, so they
Diesel
can
power
actually do
grater.
that. But for peeling, it is power. But I always advise people, if you can start with just employing people, which is
Yeah, because what I intend to do before was to engage the local people to pay, but I didn't know about the peeling machine before. But then we're looking at the cost and the output. The peeling machine will give us more output, but at the long
now
run.
What a peeling machine will do in 10 minutes. Let me tell you, what a peeling machine will do in 10 minutes. If it's hand peeling, and people that are very, very fast, like I actually tested it when we first got it. What
Okay.
with peeling machine we do in 10 minutes. The people that are very fast in peeling, we do in 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the press is always manual now.
No, there is
Because
automated.
you have to set it with get where
There
they
is
set it. There's one.
automated.
No, we
There
can't do
is
automated.
automated. Yes, there is. That you just press a button and it just goes down. There is automated, but it uses electricity.
Because it's not just because of the. I'm also most concerned about giving the local, like what I discussed with the chief of the village. I'm more of giving the people, the so many widow and doublet and married women who are not working the local. But it's more concerned about how I need to get them involved, employ most of them so that they can have something to earn at the end of every month. So I don't know, because I'm trying to see how we can manage this. So I don't depend most on machines where we need to get the people involved. We need to get them involved so that using their land and using their village. We also want to give back to them, by empowering them with what we pay them either monthly or weekly. So this is the thing. So that's why I said, okay, um, I don't know. We might not go with most of the machine ones that we can bring.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
One thing you need to understand is this is business. It is not a family, it's not a village family thing. It is your business. That's number one thing. Number two, you can start by employing, but you can start by maybe not getting the what's it called, the pillar now. You can start with the arm peeling so that it can you can bring the women on board, the youth and all that. And also, it is also your business. Do not just employ so many people at once because you want to please the ballet, or you want to please the villagers. Because you are the one paying the salary, you are the one paying the wages.
Okay.
So don't please anybody. Do what you feel is good for your business. You can employ like few of the youths to work around the factory for you, but make sure that what they are doing for you, if you are doing something of 10 naira for, if you are doing and you feel what they are doing is like 10 naira, make sure like it's like 100 naira you are getting from them. If you are giving them 10 naira, what they are giving you back is like 100 naira. Their capacity should be like 100 naira, even if you are going to pay 10, show them 10 naira. And sometimes most of these areas also, they also have this mind of entitlement. Something that have happened to me, so I'm sharing out of my own experience. They have this entitlement, whatever.
Okay.
And they tell you, it's our village, it's our this, it's our that. And they might even refuse not to come to work. They will plan and they will not come to work. And you just be on your own. So as much as you want to help the villagers also, help your business. If possible, bring people outside the village that are not even from the village, that are not even maybe their tribe, to also work for you.
Okay, another thing is this: as regards the market for market for this, I don't know. I don't know if it's NISA or NISA or do we? Okay, again, do we? Of course, we need to look for market, or are there cooperatives we can partner that can always come and buy the people that will, so I don't people that will buy from us. I don't know if there's an arrangement where we can key into a market, more like a channel, something that where we have people that already on ground to take what we are bringing out.
Mr. Gochiko, what NISA or CBN or now is doing for what NISA now CBN is giving to you is the loan. They are not on ground to look for market for you, but they feel at this time if you're applying for loan, you've done your assignments, you've done your market visibility, you've done your market research, You know where to sell your market to. So they are not here to come and give you that market. They're just here to lecture you or let you know how you can access the loan or get the loan, and they will give you the loan. Their own is for you to give you loan and you pay back the money. Now
No, I'm saying either
market. Hold on. For market, yes, you have to go out. Like you will see me sometimes going out to market. You think I'm a market woman. And hello.
I'm with you.
Okay. You have to go out to market this thing as if your life depends on it. That is where your asset is coming from. So they always encourage people join groups, if join groups, cooperative, and if you have people in a cooperative, you can tell them, okay, please can you take our Gary to share at the end of the month, at the end of the year party or something like that. Join groups, join association of cassava producers, in your community, in your state, join associations. And once you join these associations, don't just sit down there and be looking and you will not type or you will not talk. You have to be active, because in your activeness, that is when they know what you do. So it's not the assignment of NISA or whatever to do for market. It is your own job. Because don't say you are the CEO, you are the CEO, you are the marketer, you are the sales agent, you are the everything in your Agri-Business. And you also learn the way you can interact with the market women too, because they can also give you links if you are able to interact with them well. As in you come down to that level to interact with them, it will also help you in your marketing. Do we have any other question, please?
Hello, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Miss Ellie.
Yeah. Concerning the improvements that you've mentioned, I think this training has exposed a lot of things to me too. Though I actually know what equipment I need at my starting up. I actually know the particular things and the kind of equipment I need. But the issue I have is that I don't really know the price per se. But my question is this: Can you give an estimate of what someone can invest on just equipment? I know if we're starting with just Gary processing for maybe for the first step, Gary processing before we enter into the distance, I know we need a grinder, presser, fryer. I think that's the basic. The peeling of it, you can decide to use people or you use equipment, anyone, but I think that one, the three machine I just mentioned is one of the basic things. So for those ones now, like we are not going into the big ones that I'm sure you people did not start with the big ones you showed us. Yeah. So if we are starting like, okay, let's start with the smaller ones. Do you have an estimate of what those one can cost?
Okay. Like I told ago, let me give you the current price for everything. Like I would call our fabricator immediately after this class, and I will get the current price for all those equipment, the small ones for small scale, for large scale. I will get everything, and I will communicate that to you by tomorrow. Please, that will be the first thing we'll talk about before we move to value chain tomorrow. So I can give you the correct price.
Okay.
Ms. Achineke, we really appreciate your lecture for today. So I don't know any other contribution, any other question from the trainees?